Cryptilians and crypto crackheads, today is Thursday, July 22nd, 2021, and you're about to get Timified, but before the initiation of Timification, turn up the playback speed on YouTube to ×2, so I sound like I'm speaking real fast, you can get through this content faster, and move on to your other crypto information of the day, or non-native English speakers. We'll turn it up to 1.5 times speed, so you can enjoy your viewing experience even more here, and perhaps look at some of my previous videos on ×2 speed, have more time to do so. All right, so here is what I'm thinking on Bitcoin. So per my other videos, I'm mostly watching Ethereum's price movement to judge what's going to happen with Bitcoin. That proved to work out for me pretty well in specific regard to Ethereum moving to the bottom of this triangle and then having a bounce up as Bitcoin was already hanging out near the bottom of its triangle. And that's how I was able to, make a okay guess that price would bounce hard as opposed to being bearish like everybody else in the crypto universe right now. I was really anticipating a bounce off of there, and I was kind of thinking it was going to happen a couple days earlier, but it took a little while to get down there. And so just remember that in my analysis, I'm mostly using Ethereum to guess what's going to happen to Bitcoin, okay? All right, so let me clean up this chart a little bit. I'll get rid of the triangle because most people know what this triangle's looking like. And let me show you what I'm looking at here today on Bitcoin. So, then I'll relate it to why that makes sense with Ethereum's move. So by next Wednesday, the 28th. Okay, so this is the path that in a continuation sense, so continuation to the upside on short-term time frames. So on longer time frames like the daily, even the 4-hour, it is a downtrend. But it's an uptrend on the tiny time frames, right? 15-minute, even 1 hour, I think. Not even the 1 hour. It has to make a low. It hasn't even made a higher low on the 1 hour, so I guess there isn't much of an uptrend. But continuation to the upside, what I feel will happen with Bitcoin is I would focus on the 10s and the 200s. So if you don't use EMAs because you feel it's a lagging indicator and all this stuff, this is probably going to be the time to do it, and let me show you why. Right now, there's a clear squeeze play that just came to fruition between the 2-hour 10 and the 2-hour 200. As you can see, both on Ethereum and Bitcoin, that 2-hour 200 has gotten a lot of areas of interest pretty darn well. Wicked exactly up to it here, flew past it, couldn't hold it. Tried to hold it, could not. Used it as support, bounced farther, kind of a squeeze play. It actually went way above the 10 and landed on the 200. So you can see this 200 has gotten a lot of areas of interest over the course of Bitcoin's, sideways. See how perfectly that got it. A lot of the resistance here came down, used it as a resistance after busting through back into the triangle. So this line is a big area of importance, this orange line, and it just got a squeeze play past it. All right, so the last several times, just a heads up, it has broken down relatively quickly, but here's the thing. What would have given you the heads up that it's going to break down is failing and starting to close below the red line on the 2-hour. So right now, I think the chart to watch on Bitcoin is the 2-hour. And so to catch this breakout, I was saying the 15-minute and 4-hour, and that worked out beautifully. And I think it's going to work out the same for the 2-hour and 4-hour here coming up. So in my guess that the 15-minute was going to be the time frame to watch, just look how beautifully that worked out. I said the 15-minute 200 EMA, it's going to bust above it, right? If you're going to get a big move, and that's when it's going to happen. And look, that's exactly when it happened, when it bust above this, because I saw the trend was that this 15-minute 200 EMA got, like, it was getting everything right. So I would assume it would get right the breakout, and it did, which aligned almost perfectly. If I draw a line here, it aligned very closely with the 4-hour 10 EMA. And so using, I guess, the word confluence or just agreement between those. I guess that's the technical term. You can see here the breakout also coincided with the 4-hour 10 busting above, or the price busting above the 4-hour 10. But the 15-minute gave you a better heads up. So similar to how that 15-minute did get that right, what I think is going to get things right for now is the 2-hour. If you see Bitcoin and Ethereum's price get above the 200, which I think it's battling with both at the same, so Bitcoin and Ethereum are postured the exact same in specific regard to the 2-hour 10 and 200 EMAs. So they're behaving identically right now under those strict parameters. And so, so that's another reason why the 2 hours is kind of the thing to watch between the two assets, because if you flip to the daily, they are not in agreement. So Ethereum is postured totally differently because its 200 EMA is right now and it's passing it and close. It has a candle opening right at it, but that's currently above it. It has a long way to go to close, 8 more hours, but it's above its 200 EMA right now, right? On the daily. Bitcoin on the daily, its 200 EMA is way up here. It's like 20% above current price, maybe 15. 20% above current price action. So to see things apples to apples for now, in terms of, strength, staying up with strength, the 2-hour is where it's at. And if you see price of either asset, Ethereum or Bitcoin, going below and closing below the 2-hour 10 EMA, that's going to be your first hint that it's going to be a downturn. And if you're in long positions, you might want to start closing them at that time, after a closure or two, or one closure below, and then the next candle starts red, you might want to get out at that point and look to get back in later. Perhaps, retesting this line or something back down at 31K for Bitcoin. So this is the time frame that I'm watching. Let me clean this up just a little bit. And so what you're going to see happening, per my video yesterday about all those different obstacles, what you can do is draw those obstacles in, okay? So for example, let's go to Ethereum. Let's draw in the daily 200 EMA, and let's do it with one of these guys. So I'll make that orange. The daily 10. And I'm going to guess where it will be for the next day, but it should be a pretty close guess. Okay, so I drew those in. Now I'll draw in the 4 hours. So this is on Ethereum. You can do this on Bitcoin as well. Then I'll draw in the 4-hour 200 EMA. Label these guys. Check this out. So when you go on the smaller time frames, you know what you're looking at here. So all of these are in play for Ethereum right now, and for Bitcoin, the daily 200 is not in play. So there's going to be a little bit difference, but if you go down to the 2-hour, now you can see how the 2-hour 10 is helping to push through. So when Bitcoin or Ethereum got above its daily 10, it was such a strong move. It didn't even come down to touch the 2-hour 10 EMA, which is a strong move. To get above the daily 200, it only wicked down to it and then got squeezed above by the 2-hour 10 EMA. So what do you think is going to happen to pass the 4-hour 200 EMA? You're going to want to see strength as this red line on the 2-hour chart, zoomed in on the 2-hour. You're going to want to see strength in closures, candle closures above, and you're going to want to see another squeeze play and it pop out. And that will take until tomorrow to happen. And that would put Ethereum, I believe, that would have it break out of its triangle, I think, or get really close to it. Yes, it would. That would have Ethereum breaking fully out of its triangle and then making a move up. So the 4-hour 200 EMA on Ethereum is actually a little bit above its triangle, but on Bitcoin, it's right at it. So another reason why the 2-hour is what is in confluence right now with it. So you can see on Bitcoin, if I zoom out here on the 4-hour, that orange line is right here at the top of the triangle. And so by marking in the EMAs with some type of drawing tool and then pulling up specifically the 2-hour time frame, I think that's going to be able to give you all an edge in either, profit taking or taking on positions or getting out of positions, or specifically seeing especially if you're in a long, if and when this is going to break down. By doing this, what I've just done here, you're going to have really good heads up. All right. And so on my Patreon community and all that stuff, when I'm giving out alerts, if I have to give out an alert that it's going to break down, that's specifically what I'm going to be looking at. So I wanted to give you, the thoughts inside of my head on how I would react to this and what I would use to do it. I would draw on these EMAs, use the 2-hour, really focus on the 10. However, what might end up happening is this. If price cannot stay strong above the 2-hour 10 EMA, which is a very, if the 2-hour 10 price can go way below it and then continue its move up, right? So it's not a be all end all, but the 4-hour 10 EMA, which I am on the 4-hour chart right now, sorry. The 4-hour 10 EMA, price might want to wait for the 4-hour 10 to make it to the 4-hour 200 before a breakout of the Ethereum triangle. I'm thinking it will have to happen on the 4-hour, but that's going to align fairly well with the 2-hour. But what you'll see is the 2-hour 10 will be higher, and it'll look like price is breaking down below it, but it'll come down and touch the 4-hour 10, I'm supposing, and then break out. And then you might flip back to the 1-hour, 2-hour time frame and use the 10 in terms of determining strength. But I fully do anticipate a breakdown below the 2-hour 10 EMA before Ethereum price gets above its 4-hour 200 EMA. That is what I am anticipating. So I'm on the 2-hour chart right now, which it might come up here, break down below, and as the 2-hour 10 EMA is there, it bases on the 4-hour, lets that come back down and squeeze plays, and then the 4-hour 10 and 2-hour 10 are going to align pretty well. Because the 2-hour will flatten down and come back down a little bit and join this, and then price would squeeze above if there's going to be continuation. So that, in the very immediate sense, is what I would be looking for. Perhaps flipping back, I would flip to the 4-hour if and when price breaks below the 2-hour 10 EMA, which it has not yet. It's staying clearly above. So right now, the 2-hour time frame is what to look. Once you see a breakdown, I would personally am going to be flipping to the 4-hour. All right. And so what I'm looking for in Bitcoin's price movement is this. I think that in terms of these triangles and breaking out of them, I think this is going to ride on the weekly closure. So this weekend, so today's Thursday, weeks end on Sundays at 8 p.m. New York time, right? So that would be 1 a.m. on Monday, London time. And so the breakage above this, I think it's going to have to wait until Monday to Tuesday. So I think this week, Bitcoin price and Ethereum price will creep up to roughly the top of the triangle, close on Sunday around there, which is why I have written here, BTC weekly close at 33K Sunday, July 25th. And then the week of the 26th, and I can mark that line here. So that's a timeline, right? Instead of a price line. But so by here, this is after this line or on this line is when I fully expect a breakage, and then BTC to move into this box by Wednesday the 28th. All right, and so what that means for Ethereum, even though Ethereum is battling EMAs that Bitcoin is not, the price action is going to actually end up aligning. And then, and I'll show you here in a second. And then after Bitcoin can stay strong within this box, I think its next move up will ignore these two heights here. I think it's going to go test this area and that area here in this box. And I think it'll get a big move up after that. So the end of next week could be it could lead to a very large candle. All right, so take a look at these boxes here on Bitcoin before we flip to Ethereum, and so you can see how these both align. So from current price action to that box is only it's about 7%. Current price to the bigger box up is 20, and from box to box is also 20%. So let's flip to Ethereum, and I have similar boxes drawn in. Okay, I only have two now on Ethereum, but it was 20% and then another 20% on Bitcoins. So from current price to this box is 20%. From box to box is 20%. So this is going towards my theory of, sine, cosine, Ethereum and Bitcoin moving slightly differently, right? One was going up as one was going down. They would meet in the middle around the daily 200, which is exactly where Ethereum is now. Then they would move together. This is all coming to culmination from that guess, and it looks like it's starting to work at this point. And so if you haven't looked at those sine cosine videos, you might want to go look through the thumbnail. It's a different thumbnail. I think I have something like, it looks like actual waves, and you don't see the whole 𝐾𝐫 thing on there. You might want to look at those for a little bit of background of what I'm talking about. But you can see here that as Ethereum, which I think is leading the market, passes different obstacles on its way up and hits a milestone, I guess, that milestone will coincide on a percentage basis with exactly the milestones that Bitcoin has to hit and the obstacles it has to pass. So I think these assets are going to move almost identically on a percentage basis, at least until Ethereum is, as long as Ethereum's under 3K, I think Bitcoin Ethereum's percentage moves on a daily basis are going to average somewhere pretty close to each other, as opposed to Ethereum making 4% higher than Bitcoin, which is often. A lot of times when Bitcoin moves 1.5%, Ethereum will move 5%. I don't think that's going to happen. I think on a percentage basis, they're going to be within 1.5% of each other, which right now, so 3/4 versus 1.5. So I guess it's Ethereum's actually doubled it, but it's still within 1%, right? So that is what I'm looking forward to right now. And, I do recommend that that you look at Ethereum if you're trading Bitcoin. It wouldn't be bad to make trades on Bitcoin by looking at the Ethereum chart, even though as of now they seem to be postured together on the 2-hour chart. So that will make it easier for you to trade by viewing things in agreement. And I recommend that you take a moment to draw in your EMAs on different time frames and then zoom in after they're drawn on the 2-hour time frame to give you a heads up on the strength of moves. So one more thing that I would be looking forward to is a retest of the 15-minute 200 EMA. Because it got price so right, I really feel that price is either going to let this 200 EMA catch up before it really busts out, or it wants to come down and check it sooner than later. I don't know how that's going to play out. Right now, it really looks like it's just going to keep moving up. Ethereum will move up to the 4-hour 200 EMA, which is sitting at 2100, and it might wait for the 15-minute 200 to get up here, which would be in agreement with the 4-hour 10 also squeezing it. So you're going to have a ton of EMAs as floor support for price to be squeezed above this. So you're going to have a ton of pressure up of people trading those EMAs, and I think that's what's going to pop Ethereum price above this, which would allow Bitcoin's price in agreement to that to pop above its triangle. Which, let's see here. Did I not draw in? I didn't draw in the EMAs on Bitcoin. So let's do that real quick here. Let me draw in the 200. That's the 4-hour 200. I'm going to draw in the daily 10. All right, I'm going to draw this in. I'll be down a sec. I'm going to draw this in. The daily 21 is getting a lot of action in Bitcoin, but Ethereum has that extra obstacle of the daily 200 right there, and Bitcoin does not, as you can see. So let's draw that in. And Bitcoin's daily 200 is way up here. So now that when I zoom in on the 2-hour, I can see how that 10, even though it's getting a little busy up in here, I'm really just focused on the 10 and 200 here. And I want to see as Bitcoin gets above each of these EMAs and horizontals, you're going to be wanting to look for strength above the 2-hour 10. And if it breaks below, then flip to the 4-hour and try to make sure it's Bitcoin staying above that 4-hour 10 in the bullish scenario. Or if you're looking to take a short, that would be the time to, that would also be the same thing to look at. A breakage down of the 2-hour, but then get a little confirmation of breakdown below the 4-hour 10, and then you'll probably get a move down. Which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon. The next couple weeks, I think it's going to keep charging up, but that's just my opinion. And again, what I think really doesn't matter. I'm going to wait till the charts show me that that is actually what happened. But right now, that's what the charts are telling me is very probable will happen. So that is the path that I'm seeing more specifically, and that would be the way that I would give myself a heads up in regard to what is about to happen. And I suggest that, you know, you might want to try it. If you've never drawn in EMAs, then gone to a smaller time frame, try it out. If you don't like it, you know, maybe it's not for everybody, but that would be the tool that I give you, you know, to add to your bag today. So let's make sure I'm not missing. Oh yeah, there is one more thing, which I might actually say for another video here. Sorry. Let's make sure I'm not missing any other things that are obvious. We got daily Stokes, fresh cross up. We have RSI breaking above its EMA on the daily. Okay, so we're probably going to get a little stagnation in price until the 4-hour RSI can come down and check its moving average. Sometimes it doesn't check it. It'll just keep moving up. But if it does move up without checking that white line, that gives it a greater chance of breaking down statistically. And so just look at other times it doesn't come down. So it didn't come down to test it. It just moved up and then it broke down. Didn't come down to test it after it. So let me show you what I'm talking about. This white line here, that's the EMA of the RSI. Whenever that EMA on the 4-hour crosses this horizontal white line that I'm showing you right now and circling, you want to see price, or the RSI actually on the 4-hour or any time frame really, come down and hit that line right as that line is crossing the horizontal white line. Because if it does it and it makes another move up, it really does increase the chance of a breakdown. So just a heads up on that as well. So you can see how this never came down to check it after the white crossed here. It just went straight up and then it broke straight down. Never came down to check it. After this happened, it broke straight down. So here would be a healthy retest, even though it did break down, then zoom up. But something like this is about what I'm looking for. Or like this. This is healthy too. That's close enough for me. So the white line, the EMA came above the horizontal white line. Price came down to check it. So let's see how long price hung out on April 8th before a move up. So April, let's say April 8th at 1600 hours on Bitcoin. right here. So it hung out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles. And what did it do? It blasted off of the 4-hour 10. So it was just waiting for it to catch up before it blasted up above. And that might be about what happens here. So that was in specific regard to a healthy movement of the 4-hour RSI coming down to check its EMA as the EMA crossed this white line over here, this horizontal white line. And this might be something similar to what we're about ready to see if we get a healthy move. So let's take a quick fractal of that. If I can get this right, gee whiz. See if this might make sense. Well, it looks like we already got that consolidation. Crap. I don't know. It might be about ready. I guess it did already come down and hit off that 4-hour, but it looks like it might want to do it a couple more times because the 4-hour come up here. So in 3 more candles, yeah. So it might be beginning of next trading day. I would say it's 20. Yeah. So this would mark the next daily candle starting. So I would say that the move up will happen right around the beginning of the next daily candle. So the candle for July 23rd, which will begin in 7 hours and 33 minutes from the time I'm recording this. From the time you're seeing it, might be more like 5 hours, depending on when you're watching this. If you're watching it on Thursday, July 22nd. So that's what I got for you today. And I already did a long-term analysis, so you can mix that in with all my short-term analysis. And then as the short-term time frame starts shaping up, I will, check back on that long-term analysis to see how it's playing out. And that's what we'll do on the next upcoming weeks as we see price moving up. So if you liked what you saw and you learned something new and you're new, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button for me. Leave me a quick comment if you did subscribe. I want to know what crypto pronoun you have chosen, whether you want to be a cryptillion or a crypto crackhead. I'm always curious to know how people choose to identify themselves within the crypto world, and we'll see you next time.